Hi guys, it's Dema Designs, and in today's video we will build a custom accordion component with AlpineJs and TailwindCSS. Let me give you a small preview. So here we have our component, and whenever we click on this button here, the content will be shown underneath or hidden depending on our state. And that's basically it. Let's get started. So here we go. I've opened up VS Code, and as you can see we have two folders here. One is called final and the other one is starter. And if you'd like to code along, you should use the starter file, and we will do that here as well. And the code will be available on GitHub, and you will find a link in the description. So as you can see, I've added some comments here, and we have 3 dependencies. Let's go through them. The first one is an AlpineJS plugin, which is called Collapse, and this will make our life much easier. And we have AlpineJS core and TailwindCSS. You can find them on their website. First, make sure that you insert the plugin before you insert the Alpine core, and then you should be ready to go. You can find them on their website. Underneath is a section called plugins, and this is the one we are using. It's called Collapse. And from Tailwind we are using this place CDN, which is for development only, and you shouldn't use that for production, as they are saying here. Yeah. So let's go back to our code and see what we have here. So let's open first our file with the live server. And as you can see, we have 2 titles here, this main title and this subtitle, and let's check them in our code first. So here we have this h1 tag here, which holds our main title, and here we have our h2 tag, which holds the subtitle. And in this div here, where it says start component, will live our component. Let's first close this menu here so that we have more space, and put VS Code to the left and this here to the right so that we can see any changes, and start with the button. So we have this button here. This button will have some classes. One is the width of full. It will have a display of flags. The content will be aligned between, should justify content between, and align items will be center. So we say items center. It will have a border color of amber 200. This is the same color we use on our titles, this yellow one. And it will be rounded. The text will be white, and we will have some padding. Let's hit save. And here we have this button. Inside this button we will have a heading which says collapse me, and next to it we will have this arrow icon, and we will copy this from our final version. So this SVG here, we copy it, we put it here, and we remove this for now here. We keep this transition class. Let's hit save. And now we have this set, and we have a class of transition here, and this will be responsible for a nice transition later when we rotate this icon. Let's now put our content down below. We will use a div for that, and this div will also have some classes. It will have a border as well. The border color will be the same, and the border top will be null because we don't need one, since we have this button here which has this border to the bottom. And it will be rounded, so rounded bottom left, rounded bottom right, and the text will be white, and that should be it for now. Let's put some content here so that we can see it. For now you can only see the small border here. Let's use a paragraph for that, and let's put some lorem ipsum text here, and let's hit save. Let's give it a bit of padding. Let's say padding of 4, the same we have on our button here, and this looks much better. Let's use another paragraph. Let's remove some text, hit save, and that is fine for now. And now AlpineJS comes in place, because everything until now is static. So we have only static HTML and CSS here. Nothing happens whenever we click on this button, and we want to change that. So we need some reactivity. And in AlpineJS, everything starts with the xData attribute, which you put on your root element. So we say xData, and equals an object, and this object will hold all our reactive data. Since we only need one property, which we will call expanded here, and we set it to false initially, this will be very easy. So let's hit save, and nothing changes because we didn't use it yet. And let's now use it on our content, and let's put it inside xshow, another directive, and let's put it here. And this will handle the visibility of this content here based on this expression here. So whenever this is false, let's hit save, it will be hidden. So let's now handle the click on the button. So whenever we click on the button, we want to show this content here. For that, we use x_click on our button, and we say expanded is equal not expanded. Let's hit save, let's test it. And this works well. And let's next handle this arrow icon here. So whenever this is open, we want to rotate it. And for that, we want to put a dynamic class here. And you can do that with xbind::class. And just put an object here and the class name you want. And the class name we want here is rotate 180 degrees negative whenever expanded is true. Let's hit save and test it, and this works well. And as you can see, we have a nice transition on it. This is because this class here, which comes from tailwind-css. You can also omit this xbind here and leave it with the colon, and this will work as well. So this is the shorthand for it. And now we are basically done, but as you can see, we don't have this nice transition, which we have here. And for that, we have added this plugin here, and let me show you how to use this plugin. Let's check the docs first, so that we have a better understanding what we have to do. So this is the collapse plugin, and in order to use it, we simply have to put it on our element, which has this xshow attribute set. And this is all we have to do for now. So let's copy this from here and go back to our code. Let's put that to the right again, go to our component, and now we don't have any transition. Let's check if this changes whenever we put xcollapse on it. Let's hit save, and now there we go. Now we have our transition. And this plugin provides some modifiers. Let's go back to the docs, and here it says modifiers, and we have this dot duration and dot min, and the dot duration will handle the duration of the transition, and dot min will set a min height if you want some, like this here, but we don't need this, but we will use this duration here. And you simply have to say, you simply have to chain it with the dot and say duration, and let's set it to 1000, and let's check if that changed. And yeah, now it takes 1 second for the duration. Let's change that to 500 because I think it's enough, and this looks well. Yeah, and that's basically it. But there's one small thing which bothers me, and this is, let me show you, whenever we reload, there's a small amount of time where you can see this content here down below. And I have a small fix for that, and for that we will use a function which returns this object here, just to keep this a bit cleaner. And this function will be called Accordion, and it will have some params here, an object which have the property of expanded, which we set to false initially, and we will define this function here down below. So we say function accordion, which holds this object here, which we will call config, and we want to return this object here, and this object will hold this expanded property, which will have a value of config.expanded or false initially, and it will have a method which we will call onInit, and this method will do something later on, but first let's put a class of hidden to our content. So let's append it here. So now this won't work anymore because it has this class of hidden, and we want to remove this class whenever this component initializes. And for that we can use another directive which is called x-init, and we want to put it on our root element as well. So we say x-init and we want to call onInit here. And inside this method, we want to remove this hidden class which we passed here. And in order to access this element here, we can use another directive which is called xref, and we will give it a name here. Let's say Accordion content wrapper. And now with that, you can simply call and access this component here, this element here, from your JavaScript. And for that you simply have to say this dot $refs dot the name we specified, which was Accordion content wrapper, and we want to remove this class. So we say class list dot remove, and the class name is hidden. Let's hit save. Let's check if yeah, that's right. And let's check if this works. Nice, this works. Now let's check if we still have this bug. And as you can see, it is gone. I have to correct myself here because this flicker is obviously not a bug. I think this is because the plugin has to render the content initially in order to get the height of it so that it can be transitioned later on, because you cannot transition the height from 0 to auto. But anyway, I think this is a good solution for that small flicker there. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos. In the next one, we will build a custom model component. See you then.